Homelessness continues to be a major issue plaguing communities around the world. Seeing someone sleeping on the street elicits a mix of sadness, concern, and puzzlement for many of us. We wonder, how does someone end up without a place to call home? The reasons people become homeless are complex and varied. Today, we'll explore 15 primary factors that can lead to homelessness. Gaining understanding breeds compassion and helps us support solutions. Rather than making assumptions, we'll get insight into the diverse circumstances and hardships homeless individuals face. By learning why homelessness happens, we can begin changing how we think about it. Together, we can make a difference through awareness, empathy, and action. Reason 1: lack of affordable housing. Perhaps the biggest driver of homelessness is the severe shortage of affordable rental properties across many cities. As housing costs rise far faster than incomes, lower-income families simply cannot find homes within their budget. Minimum wage workers already spend over half their earnings on rent in many areas when available units are few. Reason 7: poverty and underemployment. Poverty often goes hand in hand with homelessness. With stagnant wages and the decline of middle-class jobs, income for the lowest form of earners has remained flat for decades while costs spiral upwards. Minimum wage no longer cuts it for millions, especially single parents. When you're living paycheck to paycheck already, one crisis can spiral into losing everything. Reason 3: domestic violence. To escape abusive relationships, many women and their children are forced into homelessness. With nowhere to turn and no financial resources, they urgently flee danger only to end up with no housing options. Shelters help temporarily but are limited. Reason 4: mental illness. A large portion of the homeless population suffers from serious untreated mental illness like schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and major depression. Without proper care and community support, the debilitating symptoms of mental illness can easily lead to inability to hold a job or pay for housing. Reason 5: addiction. Substance abuse often causes or exacerbates homelessness. Addictions make holding down employment extremely difficult. Habits like alcoholism and drug use also drain limited finances, leading to missed rent and eviction. Kicking addiction is tough without getting other critical needs met first. Reason 6: incarceration history. Former inmates being released from prison often have little resources or community support. Finding employment and housing with a criminal record is tremendously difficult, placing them at high risk of homelessness. Readjusting to society without basics like housing lined up beforehand often backslides into reoffending. Reason 7: aging out of foster care. Youth who age out of foster care at 18 are at very high risk of becoming homeless. With limited education and weak support networks, gaining life skills and finances needed to secure housing by 18 poses immense challenges. Couch surfing or shelters become their only options. Reason 8: escaping domestic violence. To escape abusive relationships, many women and their children are forced into homelessness. With nowhere to turn and no financial resources, they urgently flee danger only to end up with no housing options. Shelters help temporarily but are limited. Reason 9: PTSD. In veterans, many veterans grapple with post-traumatic stress disorder after returning from service. Debilitating symptoms like depression, anxiety, and trauma make resuming normal life tremendously difficult. Gaining stability with work and housing proves challenging without support tailored to vets. Reason LGBT youth rejection. Up to 40% of homeless youth identify as LGBT. Family rejection because of their orientation often leaves them destabilized without financial support or even a home, forcing many onto the streets. Reason 11: natural disasters. Events like earthquakes, hurricanes, tornadoes, and floods can instantly take away housing and livelihoods. Low-income families are hit hardest by disasters, with no savings or resources to start over and rebuild. Living paycheck to paycheck leaves them especially vulnerable. Reason 12: job loss. Losing a job can quickly lead to missing rent and eviction, sending people into financial free fall towards homelessness. Those living paycheck to paycheck cannot build emergency savings and have no safety net when work disappears. Finding employment without an address adds another barrier. Reason 13: Mental challenges. Many homeless individuals face disabilities like schizophrenia, PTSD, and personality disorders that make obtaining steady work extremely difficult without proper treatment and vocational training. Landing a job to afford rent seems impossible when overwhelmed by mental health challenges. Reason 14. Medical crisis and bills. A major injury, illness, or disability can exhaust finances through medical costs and the inability to work. One huge hospital bill or diagnosis can derail stable living for those already struggling to get by. Accruing health costs causes many bankruptcies. Reason 15. Aging population. Some elderly people end up homeless after outliving retirement savings without family to help support them. Limited income and declining health make paying for housing and care nearly impossible as people age. Living on streets can quickly turn fatal. As we better understand why homelessness happens, we can extend more compassion and advocate for solutions like affordable housing, mental health care, addiction treatment, and a stronger social safety net. While not giving money directly, donating to reputable charities or volunteering for supportive programs creates positive change. But for fortune got all of us, each person deserves shelter and dignity.